I'm thrilled to be here to talk about our new season next year. We have been committed to doing exciting opera, to looking towards the future of opera since we were founded. And so it's with particular excitement that I tell you that we will do 4 brand new productions next year, brand new world premiere productions. But first, another piece of exciting news. In terms of where we'll be performing, we have actually cemented 3-year relationships with 2 theaters that will act as our primary stages for the next 3 seasons. We had a great response this year at BAM. It's a place I've loved for many, many years, as have so many New Yorkers. But we really discovered firsthand what a spectacular opera house it is. Among the very finest stages of its kind in New York City. It's the only existing and functioning 19th century style opera house in New York, and so it was an ideal place for us to give La Traviata, for instance, an incredible experience to see and hear that piece there, and also even Rufus's opera, which was in its way a Valentine to 19th century opera. So we will be at BAM this coming season, and we have agreements for the next 3 years, and affection and intention to keep working together. It will also be, another piece of big news, we'll be returning to our historic roots, because this coming season and for the next 3 seasons and perhaps beyond that, we will be at New York City Center, the land of our birth. City Center has, of course, just been gloriously renovated. It's now sounds better, looks better, and feels better. Many of you will have been there this season, but it's an extraordinary theater and a great place for us to be. These 2 places, BAM and City Center, will be our primary theaters over the next few years, but we still have the freedom to look for other stages to match projects that want special rooms, very much like Così fan tutte this year, which worked so beautifully at John Jay, and Telemann's Orpheus, or I'm told now by my diction coach, Orpheus, because it's in German, which will be up at the Museo del Barrio, that beautiful space. So the season, much like this season, will start out at BAM in February. The first production up at BAT is Tom Addis's Powder Her Face, a piece I'm crazy about, and it hasn't been seen in New York, I think, for 15 years when it was last done at BAM. It's an extraordinary show full of some of Addis's, I think, toughest and most fun music. It's kind of Addis in full Kurt Weill mode. Tangos and other kinds of crazy dance music, and of course it centers around this famous sex scandal from the 60s that rocked London very shortly after the Profumo affair, and Jay Shive, a great young New York director, will be directing the show. And the second production at BAM is our celebration of Britain's centennial. My favorite of Britain's operas, Turn of the Screw, an incredibly beautiful score, an incredibly great piece of storytelling, and Sam Buntrock, a young British director now resident in New York, who made a great splash with his production of Sunday in the Park with George. He's now directing John Guare's brand new play out at the McCarter Theater. He's got musical productions on the road, a very insightful guy, and he's incredibly excited about this show and about telling this story, which, as he told me, is not really a scary story, but it should be a horrifying story. It's not just a ghost story. It should be something truly horrifying. I think it's going to be a spectacular production. And then in April will be Rossini's fantastic opera, Moses in Egypt, at New York City Center. It was originally done in Italian as a 3-act show, but he rewrote it as a 5-acter for Paris in French. It was done at the Hippodrome by Salmaggi in like 1936 with a cast of 5,000. They were not available. But it's a classic French opera in the kind of Meyerbeer mold, just gigantic and a little messy. And then it was translated back into Italian and called Mosè. That's the version, if you've seen it in Italian or by a recording in Italian, it's most likely you're getting that. But I frankly think the original version is a much, much stronger telling of the story. To give you an idea, I mean, it's a brilliant, it's a story everybody knows, but Rossini attacks it in a rather brilliant way. It opens during the Plague of Darkness, so you're already in the story immediately. And when you deal with the Red Sea and Plagues of Darkness, I can think of no better director for us than Michael Counts, who will be taking over this production. Sort of visually a beautiful director, but also an incredible storyteller. It's a wonderful opera. If you don't know it, you're in for a real treat. The final show of the season is also something I'm looking forward to enormously, Offenbach's La Péricole, directed by Christopher Alden, who is actually an extraordinary interpreter of Offenbach's music. He did Tales of Hoffmann, I think, last summer or 2 summers ago out at Santa Fe, and actually has a long track record of doing Offenbach here in New York with l'Opéra Français de New York. We're thrilled about this show. It's about La Pericola is the nickname of a real historical Peruvian folk singer called Micaela Villegas. She's something of an 18th century Ima Sumac. But anyway, thank you. All 5 of you who got that joke, thank you. But it's a great show and will be a real joy and a conclusion to the main stage season. Over the last year, we've been telling you that City Opera needs a stable financial foundation after many years of deficits so that we can stabilize and build. And I'm happy to say that we are there for the first time in 12 years. 12 years, we will end the season. We're on track to end the season with a balanced budget. The fiscal year closes in about 2 months. So that is an extraordinary change, one that was absolutely necessary, but it's a tremendous accomplishment, and we're extremely happy to announce it to you. And I'm also happy to echo what Chuck said, that every single show so far this year has been sold out, and we are on track to sell out every performance of Telemann's Orpheus. There is tremendous demand in New York City for what we're doing, and we're thrilled to be able to bring it to the people of New York. So the opera is now, at last, on a stable financial footing, and we're looking forward to a bright future and to growing.